Hey there, it's Ben from patternprofits.net bringing you my weekly watch list. We are looking first at the cues. We have a potential inverse head and shoulders setting up here, 324.15 neckline. We discussed this last week. First thing that will need to happen, price needs to get back above the anchored VWAP off of the high, turn that back up. It's, we've got multiple clouds here. Short-term clouds are still red, declining, 50 and 65, kind of flat just above. So we'll see if this can form the right shoulder here and clear this neckline. It looks to me like this head and shoulders pattern has clearly failed. I know others see this as being the right shoulder. I view it as this the left shoulder, here the right shoulder. Came down, broke through the neckline, but failed, reclaimed that neckline area, and now setting up the inverse head and shoulders, which actually makes more sense to me. Well, we'll see how it plays out. We'll just watch price action early in the week. But because of that and how the QQs are sitting, we've got quite a few setups where anchored VWAP off of the high, anchored VWAP off of the low. This is the Brian Shannon Alpha Trend Special. The pinch, we're looking at that with Mohawk here. You have pretty good support from off of the low, a couple tags now, and you have the 50 and 65 cloud right there. So we're going to see if it can break through, that upper anchored VWAP off of the high. If you bring the volume by price over, you can see that the volume point of control was reclaimed. So the next logical step here for me on strength would be to see this break through, and we'll see if it can get some upside traction if it does. Another one that I still have on the radar, they have earnings on Friday, is this TIGR. Very similar type setup. You have the longer term moving average cloud 50 and 65 coming up from the bottom. You have the 10 and 20 coming down from the top. Again, set up in that pinch with the volume point of control and the volume shelf right there, kind of where it closed. So in no man's land in the middle of these, but this will be on high on the watch list to see how this acts early in the week. And then, like I said, has earnings on Friday. And there's quite a few that are set up similar to this. DMTK is another one. Same type setup. It's actually above the volume shelf point of control, a little bit tighter as far as the action there. Anchored VWAPs off of the high and the gap, and then off of the breakout and the low. But that action's getting tight. A lot of these are set up very similar into early next week, so we'll have to watch how they act and which way they come out. Yala is another one. Now this one has actually cleared the anchored VWAP off of the high, and it hasn't made a whole lot of progress since, but looks like it's in good shape on continued strength there next week. Another one that looks similar, HIMX. This one below anchored VWAP off of the high did clear that descending trend line, but didn't really make much progress as it got rejected here off the anchored VWAP off of the high. We have cloud support there if this can turn out, kind of looking like a flag here. If it can come out of there, regain the point of control, anchored VWAP, and push through anchored VWAP off the high, this one will look very nice early next week. Another one similar, and like I said, because of the way the NASDAQ looks, a lot of these look very similar. Another one that's broken through, anchored VWAP off of the high, broke the descending trend line, kind of flagging up here, but hasn't made much progress. So we'll look, this is another one, Grow G, to see if it can make some upside progress. I've got one more that kind of looks a little different than these, but has held this 4074 pivot very nisely. Had a good day on Friday on big volume that was post EPS, and now you have 5177 up above, see if it can make a run to that level and possibly through that level. They had pretty good numbers. In energy, they haven't really had much of a dip this run all year. This goes back to mid-January. We finally got a pullback late last week in some of those hot energy names. I'm going to be watching CHX. This is anchored VWAP from the gap, from the breakout here above the 1913 pivot. Dip below anchored VWAP on Friday, also below the 20-day. If you pull the volume by price over, you'll see that we're kind of right there at the volume shelf point of control. So I want to see if this can quickly reclaim anchored VWAP from that breakout day, and then make some progress and kind of see this as a flag pattern, and then see if it can push through and break out of that bull flag. Another one in the energy sector I'll be watching, New Forest Energy. Now this is a different type of pattern entirely. They had earnings last week. Big volume, nice candle, a pretty nice move there. Reclaimed anchored VWAP off of the high back here. You also had support, the anchored VWAP from the recent low, but the pattern that I see here is this double bottom pattern, 56.76 pivot above. I see this kind of a flag pattern, and if it can break out through here, push above the volume shelf and point of control, which is pretty much on any strength from here, you come out of this flag, gives you an early entry opportunity over the highs here to possibly set up for a breakout of this double bottom 56.76 pivot. I like how the bottom of this right side did shake out below the left, gets rid of the last of the weak hands, and then this nice volume late last week coming in sets it up nicely if energy does again get a bid next week. Another one I'm watching, we've had this one on the radar in the past, ICLK. This is another one of the VWAP pinch off of the low from back here, finding support. It's kind of right there now. You have confluence there of the 65 MA, cloud support just below, volume shelf point of control just below. What I want to see is if this can make a run up towards here, the anchored VWAP off of the high on strength. This is one that you can manage very tightly against the support here. If it does roll back over, you're out rather easily with a minimal loss. Another one, we're kind of out of the focus list stuff now and into more of the velocity scan stuff that was put on my radar by these big volume days. This EOLS, this is Botox, and they had some a good settlement go in their favor as far as using their product in the US, and it set up a nice gap here and is now set up an ascending triangle pattern. Look to see if that can clear those highs and break out into new highs. Big volume back here, cloud support just below, and if we bring this over, you got a nice little volume shelf just below, so we're looking for that one to push through. I believe the high there is 1481. Yeah, that's what we're looking for, a push through. Then KOPN. This one, another one that, where a lot of the stuff that we're looking at is trading down here at or below the 50 or 65 MA. This one has held up really well. Still up high, flagging up high, had a big day on Friday. Good volume, reclaimed the volume shelf and point of control there, kind of coming out of the flag. Looking for upside continuation here on KOPN. Another one, I'm just going to briefly mention this. I'm not going to talk much about it. TKAT, inside day. That's all I'm going to say about that one. CRTO, another one that I like. This from the Power Earnings Gap list. Had the big gap back here. It didn't close real well on that first day, but Anchored VWAP acted and still continues to act as support, reclaimed again late last week. Have kind of this symmetrical triangle pattern that shaped up now, and you have again, really looking good where most things are trading down here around the 50, 65 cloud. It's way up high looking to reclaim the 1020. You have confluence up here with volume shelf point of control, so look for that on strength to break that descending trend line, break out to the upside, and make a run towards and through those prior highs. That's all I've got on the radar for early next week. Hopefully we see some strength and some of these start breaking out to the upside. It would bode well for quite a few, as you see, look similar. So if the Qs can get things started with a little strength, I think it bodes well for some of these others that I've shared. Hope you have a great trading week, and I will see you over on FinTwit.